Hi there, I'm Sandy, I'm an anaesthetics registrar, and I just want to briefly talk to you about a regional service evaluation we did looking at measures to avoid accidental awareness under general anaesthesia. Now, accidental awareness under general anaesthesia is a really important potential complication of general anaesthetics. It's important both to patients and clinicians, and the consequences of it are potentially devastating. And some of you may not be aware, but actually the Association of Anaesthetists guidance for monitoring changed in 2021 and now specifically recommends audible low end tidal agent or low MAC alarms to be set during volatile anaesthesia. And this actually comes from all of the randomised controlled trials that looked at processed EEG monitoring to reduce awareness with volatile anaesthesia. Now, those trials concluded there was no benefit to the use of processed EEG monitors, but the important thing to note from them is that the control arms of those studies all had low end tidal agent alarms set. Now, that's something that's not previously been reflected in our national guidance, but now is. And it's something that anecdotally as trainees we had noticed wasn't always being followed. And so as a trainee research group, we set up a regional service evaluation. We went to 8 different hospitals across 5 days in June of last year. We made over 350 visits to theatres, and we also did a survey of around 250 anaesthetists who were anaesthetising at the time. And there's an awful lot I could talk about from that study, but I really just want to focus on the take-home message around volatile. And what you can see here is actually that low-end tidal agent alarms were, to be fair, set just over 50% of the time. So it's not perfect, but at least half of us are engaged with this, yeah? But the next slide, I think, really kind of gives the game away. It shows the same data, but grouped by hospital. And you can see on the left that there are 3 hospitals that have really good compliance, and then the remaining 5 hospitals have really poor compliance. And that quite simply is based on what their default alarm setting is. People aren't changing the default alarms. And we delved into that a little bit deeper in our survey, and we asked, how often when you're using a volatile anaesthetic do you check or modify your end tidal agent alarms? And you can see that on the left-hand side, never and rarely are the 2 most common answers by some margin. Almost nobody checks or modifies their volatile agent alarms. And I think that's something that we should all just be a little bit aware of and be aware of the changing guidance, and potentially after this go back to your trust or to your hospital and see what your default alarm is and speak to your colleagues about whether you should change those if needs be. There's loads more in this study that I'd love to talk to you about around processed EEG monitoring in TIVA and these sorts of things. So if you're interested in it, please feel free to either drop me an email or come and speak to me if you're here in person. Thank you very much and have a lovely day.